The commuter term refers to something that takes you from A to B. So are you crazy to spend this sort of dollars on a boat that supposedly only does one thing? Perfect for putting on the beach. It is an absolute pleasure. So cool, so cool. So I think the answer for some of you is yes, probably you are, but I do believe there's a segment of you watching this channel who are totally going to understand this piece of kit, and she is a wild one. She's an absolute winner, in my opinion, for a certain select group of people. This is the Nimbus C11. It's based on the same hull as the T and the W11, which you've already seen on my channel. This one you may have already seen before as well with the inboard Volvo 320 stern drives. But today, we've got the beautiful new Mercury V10 400s, which suit this thing down to a T. So this video is going to be mostly about testing and providing you an experience in some big seas and also in the flat water. But before we get there, I just want to give you a quick refresher. So come on with me as to the layout, and just to explain a few things that will differentiate this boat. So I think what we'll do, we'll just jump straight on the boat. As you can see, perfect for putting on the beach. So as opposed to inboard stern drive, where you may want to think about that in some locations, outboards are great. And in our part of the world, outboards really excel because we go boating all year round. So you don't really want to, pass me that camera, Craig, you don't necessarily want to leave a stern drive in the water all year round, or not many Aussies or Americans do, because you're just adding to the maintenance. So that's great, but there are a number of differences to point out. So having already bashed around the ocean today, and you guys are coming with me in just a sec, there is a marked difference in terms of the comfort factor of this boat out in the sea. So why don't you, I'll go over here so you haven't got the sun in your eyes. It is an absolute pleasure to drive this boat. And I'm going to put it down to a couple of things. We've got more weight, up to a ton extra weight on this boat compared to the other models on the same hull. And that's because of lots of glass and lots of structure. That's all going to weigh something. But the fact that it's in the middle of the boat kind of makes it work when you're out in the ocean. You do really notice it. We're not hanging weight off the extremities, it's in the middle. Next thing, we have suspension seats. These things are awesome. If you've had a big boat before, which I suspect you may have if you're considering this, it really does change the experience. But I'll just prove that to you in a sec when we get out into the ocean. And then just pay attention to the opening spaces, the opening doors is what I mean. Because these doors, they're huge. So the big blokes are not going to have any problems moving around the decks on this boat. So we've got a centerline cabin, equal amount of space on port and starboard. So you can have these doors open and you can go forward and you can go aft and you can manage the whole space. So getting up on the beach is super easy. But quickly just come out the back of the boat and I'll show you a couple of points of difference which you may not have been aware of, because the previous one, this was an engine bay just here. But now we've got the engines out on the back. So we do lose the swim platform, so that's important to you. I know some of you Europeans love the swim platforms. That's gone. But we do still have this wonderful seat just here. That's a flip down seat. We've got the fender storage. But underneath me here, we have an amazing, a really, really awesome storage area with checker plate aluminium floor. We've got the genset on the centerline. We can put a gyro, a quick gyro on the centerline as well. And we've got heaps of storage space. So if you are going to your batch or your beach house or whatever you want to call it in whichever part of the world, you really can load this thing up with a lot of gear. If you're an adventurous person, we've got the roof racks and we got this storage space for all your toys. So it really does change the whole sort of calculation, in my opinion. But it's not just that. I'll quickly refresh your memory on the layout in here. So this is option 1. This is option 2, option 3, and option 4. So we've even got a place for these cushions, but come quickly refresh your memory on the accommodation, which is largely the same as on the other boats. So the layout is the same, but this module here is now your cooking space instead of having it up on deck. The toilet and shower, same, and the guest accommodation is the same. Fridge and panel here, stairways, it's all the same. So we can block out the sun, we can let the sun in, and open the sunroof. So I'm going to take you out in the ocean right now, guys, just to show you how good this experience really is. Before we do that, there's no such thing as a perfect boat. I've discovered that in my many decades of doing this. But what I do realize is many of you want inside information and you want insights that perhaps I or company directors or designers or people in the circle can give to you. So what I have done, I've started a Patreon channel. I'm filming extra content. I'm discussing the good, the bad, the ugly with dealers, with designers, and with anyone influential who might be able to help you with your purchase decision. And I'm making myself available on the top level Patreon for you to talk to me. So don't send me a DM. I'm getting too many of those and I just don't have the time to respond to them all. Feel free to join the Patreon if you are buying a boat and want that extra level of assistance. And otherwise, please just enjoy the videos. And if you haven't already, subscribe, tell your mates, tell your wife, tell your uncle, tell your next door neighbor, because I'm determined to get this to 100,000 subscribers this year. Please help me. If you enjoy this content, it's my commitment to you that I'll keep it fun. I'll keep doing awesome stuff with awesome boats, and hopefully it'll inspire you to do the same. See you soon. I'm going to talk about fuel flow and economy when we get back inshore. I'm just going to focus on the superb levels of comfort that can be achieved in a boat like this, or in this boat out in the ocean. So we're running the twin V12 400 horsepower. So I'll get the boat up and moving. Just going to sit on moderate speeds out here. We do have, a sizable swell, up to 2 meters at times. Rolling, sometimes short wave periods, sometimes long. It's a bit all over the place. So 18 knots right now. I've got swell on my port beam. I'm headed in a southerly direction. I've got the seat all the way forward, the back door closed, and the side doors open. So that's the noise levels. It is so incredibly comfortable. And I'll just track this direction for a little while. 3,900 revs, zip wakes on auto. I am so happy I could do this all day long. It is incredibly comfortable. I got a really good lookout, or I'm able to keep a really good lookout because we do have the whales migrating. Seems like a bit early, like winter doesn't start till tomorrow. Anyway, it is what it is. We'll just increase that speed, 4,200 revs, see what we get out here, going up and down the swells, and I'm seeing speed over ground of about 21 knots there. Got some wildlife in the water. I'm just going to leave that to port. A lot of birds diving today, catching fish. Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to interrupt your breakfast. Okay. Very, very comfortable. Even as I gently steer the boat through these conditions, I don't feel the necessity to leave my hand on the throttle because the hull is just managing these conditions so well. The extra weight of this boat compared to many of the adventure boats you see me test provides an extra cushioning, an extra level of cushioning. Hope that camera not moving around too much. So yeah, it's just really, really comfortable. This is superb. All right, so we're going to go into the swells now, and I'm not going to be a galah and I'll slow down because I'm going to imagine that you're going to be doing this with your family. So let's just be sensible. We'll go right into the waves, slowed down to 16 knots, heading straight into the swirls on. Here's this suspension seat doing its thing. This is so good. Just look at this. Look at this. I'm doing that at 15.8 to 16 knots. I saw 16.5 there. Straight into some swells. There's the ocean swells. This is the Pacific Ocean. And I could do this for a considerable amount of time and no complaints. Actually, I do have a complaint. I want a coffee cup holder right here so I can enjoy myself. That's incredible. Lovely. I certainly wouldn't speed up. I don't see the point. Can it do it? Yeah, sure. But you know, you don't want to make yourself seasick in conditions like this. So let's take the swell side on again and we'll speed up to what I would consider a conservatively possible speed. And oh yeah, feel that landing. That was great. Not a rattle. I don't have any water on the windscreen. I can keep these doors open. Wonderful. I can see the swell being pushed out to the side, curled over like this, and then the rubbing fender on the side is picking up whatever wants to make its way up the hull and sending it out in this direction. This is a wonderful piece of kit. You know, if you weren't confident of your throttle control, you could switch over to single lever in this bouncy stuff, and then that will allow you to rest your palm on the throttle base and just operate it in single lever. What I do in swell, I use the tip of my fingers rather than grabbing onto the throttle, and it gives me a little bit of little fudge factor, so to speak. Okay, oh, look at that. I love this suspension seat. That is fantastic. Okay, now I'm turning north, putting the swell on my starboard beam. Just going to control that for a little bit. 3,800 revs. Completely different experience to the W11 and the T11. It's night and day different. You're inside this cabin. I can close it all up. I've got the air conditioning, so I can cool this cabin. Really good vents. We'll test that in the walkthrough should I need. I'm now accelerated to a speed of 22 knots. This is the seats, the helm position. I have no desire to stand. I have no need to stand. I can just see everything. You've got much more space if you need to with longer legs. You can put the seat back, and I can flip this footrest down to have another place to put my feet, but I think this forward footrest is just fine. This person doesn't have the forward footrest. They've just got that footrest. But what a luxurious experience. Let's just give it a little bit more speed. Don't need to do much more than that. Those are wave detector boys just there we're passing. Okay, bit more speed. 35 meters of water here. 4,300 revs. And I'm seeing really comfy 23 knots. Once again, I feel like I'm confident enough to take my hand off the throttle without the need to quickly reach back and dial back on the speed, because this hull, her weight, her design has the momentum and efficiency to just really cut through this stuff, particularly at this angle. You know, I'm not going into it. I wouldn't do this going into the swells, but that's just a beautiful experience, guys. And knowing that this to me is so much more than just a commuter, because I could sleep the whole family. You can sleep a family of 4. You could load it up with toys and stuff. These outboard engines facilitate us being able to go onto the beach. There's just so many activities and environments that are open to us. But I'll stop talking about that and I'll just bloody well show you. So keep watching. I'll take us somewhere interesting and we'll do that right now. So welcome back inshore, guys. If you wanted to see us crossing the bar, I'm actually going to pop that up on the Patreon channel, and we're going to do a speed test and I'll talk to you about the fuel flow now. So we will be in moderately, if not completely, flat water in a second, I've got the zip wakes on auto, going through some boat wash there, and I'm just going to start playing with my speeds and calling out the fuel flow as I enter this flatter water for you. So right now I'm sitting on a steady 30 knots, and I've got RPM of 4,800, and I'm getting a fuel flow of 74 litres a side. So what I'll do, I'll speed her up and then I'll slow her down. Green on the right, red on the left. Let's speed up. Showing my intentions, going to the right, got some traffic, great. Okay, 32 knots, 5,000 revs, 5,100 revs, 33, 34 knots, easy peasy, seeing 93 litres a side. Clear, 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 let's accelerate. 5,600. Oh, you really feel that acceleration. This is where these 400 horsepowers are coming into their own. I'm letting the auto trim do everything for motors and zip wake, and I've got 6,200 revs. I'm seeing 42 knots, easy. I've got more to play with. There we go, 6,250, 6,300 revs. I've got 44, 45 knots. We feel great, in control, and burning 130 litres a side. I'll just go nice little sweeping turn. Great, fantastic. All right, now let's slow it down. And I'll stay in the channel. I can feel the zip wake wanting to lean me over a little bit here. And I'm just gonna bring her right back to a normal cruising speed. There we go. Now I'm at 25 knots. These seats are just coming into their own. They are fantastic. And I can see a fuel burn of 55 litres a side, sitting at a steady 4,300 revs, and I'm getting a speed return of 24 knots there. Super comfortable. Let's just slow it down a little bit more. See when she wants to come off the plane. I am going to go the other direction because we're in a tidal area here, so we'll just see what happens. And I'm seeing 19 knots. I can see my wash going forward. My fuel flow is at 42 litres a side, and I'm getting a speed return, revs at 3,700 to 3,800 revs is giving me that 18 to 19 knots, and I reckon we'll drop off the plane if we do any lower than that. That's 3,000 revs. The boat's starting to settle. I can see feel the trim doing its auto thing. I see 30 litres a side, and I've got a speed return of 14 knots. Offensive in terms of the wash, but it would be totally fine out in the ocean. And then if we do full displacement speed, just as we pass the good old Spirit of Freya, I think that hasn't gone anywhere in a while. Full displacement speed, sitting on about 9 knots now, an RPM of 1,700, and a speed return, hovering at about that 8.5 knots, burning 13 litres a side. So you could cover some ground if that's important to you. So just checking all around for traffic. I'll do a tight turn now, and I'm just going to accelerate the boat right up to full speed, because we're going to go the other direction relative to the tide, and we'll see if we see any differences there. So red on the right, green on the left now. I'll stick to the right side of the channel. I love these chairs. So notice how I haven't stood up. I'll just stand up for the exercise. That's fun. Okay, don't need to, because it's so enjoyable sitting down. Okay, clear all around. Got my markers in sight. Clear, clear, accelerating. 4,500 revs. That's foot to the floor. Full acceleration this time. Speed is climbing. I'm at 125 litres consumption per side. Looking for my marker. Red on the right. Clear all ahead. I've got water underneath me, so that's good. 40 knots and climbing. I'm overriding the engine trim. It feels like the engines want to go up a little bit. I've got 6,380 revs. Okay, 43 knots, 44 knots. The zip wake's a little bit out of balance at this speed. I almost want to go to manual. I'll go engine trim up. 6,400 revs, 6,400 revs, blisteringly fast, and I'm seeing a GPS speed actually sitting on 42 knots. 42 knots. I feel like at that speed, that's where I probably would have just disengaged the zip weight and gotten rid of it. You do have to do it on this digital panel, so it's not as easy to just reach down and operate when your brain is in the middle of a high workload, when you're thinking about traffic, water, dangers, etc. So for fast driving in a busy waterway, I don't know if I like having the zip weight on the dial like this, but remember, it's probably not designed for that. It's designed for this luxury, long range, comfortable, get you to where you want to go type vibe. So I think that's where it really does stand out. So let's just head inshore now. We'll play with the anchor, and then I'm going to take you up to a fixed dock wherever I can find one, and we'll do some quick couple of touch and goes just to point out some of the differences of this style versus the W and the T. And one of the super awesome things about a boat of this style equipped with outboards is that we can just so easily pop it up on the beach as I am doing right now. Just come in at a slow speed. I've checked the depth. I know where I am. I know what the tide's doing. That's obviously quite crucial. And I've even got the bow ladder already deployed for the full rockstar arrival, which is possible. On the sand now, back into neutral, just slide back my luxurious chair and pop out with ease to go have a picnic. So this is what you got to love about a layout like this, guys. If you want to do a touch and go, pick up friends or berth the boat, it's all very easy. So skyhook, luxury chair retracted. Let's go sort out the fenders. Always be aware with the skyhook, it's going to move without you doing anything, so don't get too close to the transom because it might want to engage. They are pretty good these days. They're not as aggressive as they used to be. These are not the Nimbus fenders, by the way. The Nimbus fenders look like this, but it's a brand new boat. They don't have the lines on them just yet. So another thing I love about this design, see how easy it is for me to use this grab rail all the way down the side and just secure the fenders. Not all boats have these, and just makes life a little bit harder. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 fenders. We're going to do a little touch and go just as a demo because we're starting to run out of time. So, happy days. The boat does move around a little bit with the skyhook. So come in and have a look at what we're doing. I'll leave the seat retracted, disengage skyhook, and do a bow thruster test. So I've got my bow thruster on. There you go. I always like to do that as I'm coming in. And we got fishermen on the dock. So what we'll do, we'll just use this end of the dock. There we go. We'll try not to interfere old matey having an afternoon fish on a Friday. And the young bloke with his fishing net. I wonder if he's caught anything. That's kind of cool. So coming in at an angle, just pointing the camera forward so you guys can see what's having a look. Just have a look forward so you can see what I'm doing. And now I can just straighten the boat up, and I can do this a couple of meters away from the dock, and maybe if you guys got the bow and look back, you'll actually see what I am doing. Stop the boat, and now I can utilize the engines and the thruster to walk it in. See this? How easy is that? And I'm just going to do a touch and go, just simulating getting some mates. 3, 2, 1 on the fenders. Super easy. And now if I want to go, I can actually just reverse the process. And then, because I don't want to get in the way of that guy's fishing line, I'll just now reverse. So super maneuverable on a boat like this, and because of the walk around, and all the glass. My visibility is excellent, and if you just watch this, I'll do a transverse thrust and I can actually get the boat out of the way. I'll stay out of matey's fishing net, and I've got heaps of swing room at the back of the boat because I was able to side slip the boat away from the dock and create room for myself. And even if you were, you know, not so good at that and you made a few mistakes, because of the design of this boat, because of the rub rail down the side, because of the easy access with all the fenders, you can just leave the helm with it in neutral and just go and push if necessary. So that is the difference with a design like this. Hope that was useful. So before I drop the anchor, I just want to show you guys what's possible with a bit of transverse thrust on this boat. So I'll just center the motors, that's always a good idea, and I'll get the boat moving so you can get a feel for how much power we have available to us. Look at this. In no time, I can get the thing spinning. Look at that. So that's without bow thruster. So very, very maneuverable if you've got to swing the thing around. And what I will do now, I'll just do a bit of bow thruster and a combination of wheel. So you can also do wheel over, kick it in forward like this, and then wheel over the other way and kick it in reverse, and she will still really move. And then if you need to, get that bow thruster into it. So just want to give you a feeling for what you can do on what is still almost 10 tons fully loaded and over 40 feet. She's approaching 41 feet. It's quite maneuverable. So the bow thruster is torquey, effective, and easy to use with the bow thruster control just here. But now I'm going to drop the anchor. I've already taken the safety off, and what we can even do, Craig, when I start to get the anchor down, you can run forward and just show everyone, maybe open that hatch, what it looks like. So I just don't want to get out of this chair. It's so comfortable. So what would you choose? What's the layout and style for you? Would you do the T11 fully open? If you haven't seen it, check it out on my channel. Would you do the W11 with all of that space that you've got out the back with that beautiful drop down swim platform? Or would you do the C11? And would you do the outboards or the inboards? Difficult choice, but this is, I think, having spent this day and a decent amount of time on this beautiful piece of kit, if you are wanting that super luxury sedan of the ocean, if you're wanting that super luxury comfortable ride that will take you out in any conditions and will also accommodate a family of 4 for the weekend, if that's important to you, or if you really are just wanting the best, most comfortable experience and you already have a big boat, you just want something convenient. And even though this is 40 feet, more than the W11, because of the design of that boat, this is much more convenient to operate as a solo operator, because getting straight access to the sides, full walk around, incredible amount of practicality, being able to open and close the doors and the roof. Think about that. Remember, this channel is about your boat life. It might be called Dan's Boat Life, but that's just because that's all I could think of. So, I hope that was useful to you. I'm going to pop up links to the other boats in this range on the screen right now. Maybe one there or 2 there, whatever's available. Do go check them out, because I honestly believe this is one of the best brands available on the market today. And for this size, and with this engine package and what it can offer you select few who are looking for something special, I believe you're going to appreciate it. So subscribe, share this content with your mates. I do appreciate every single one of you, and thank you to all of you new Patreons who've been joining the channel. I've got some extra content from today. There's a dolphin. Thought it was a shark right there. awesome. See, this is why a boat like this, that is so cool. Right there, there's the dolphin. Can you see it? I'll put my seat back. He was right here. There he is. Hello, matey. See, I didn't organise that. That's just what you get when you go boating. So cool. So cool. So, that's it, guys. Who needs convincing when you get to see stuff like that? How good's life? I love this. Anyway, love you lots. See you on the next one. Maybe see you on the Patreon channel. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.